All right, we should be live. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining and hanging out on stream today. Let's see, it's been a couple of weeks. I was pretty sick last week. I didn't play my best in the Chainhawk Open, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but at the same time, I have an every other year thing going on with the Chainhawk Open. I played first in MA3, uh, counting 4 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I played in MA3. 2 years ago, and I won. 2 years ago, I played in MA1, took fourth place. Last year, I won MA1. This year, didn't cash an MPO. That means next year, I'm going to win MPO, right? I think that's how logic works. Pretty sure that's the truth. JCT Disc Golf says the GOAT. Thanks, man. Appreciate you hopping on and joining. But yeah, I have high hopes for next year for the Chainhawk Open. It's an event that I definitely can perform well at, and I really kind of just struggled to get reaccustomed to the course. Actually, my discs were more understable. They were more flippy than I expected them to be. I think it's only 1,000 foot difference in elevation, but just going back to where I played disc golf for 3 years, suddenly everything was turning over, and I realized I only had one stable distance driver, and it was my Rive. Everything else was turning. So that was a little bit unfortunate. It took me a while to kind of get used to that. And even on hole 17, round three, I turned over an Enigma out of bounds. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't usually do that. Like, it's usually going to be, straight, even if I end up being short and left and, off in bounds. So there were some struggles out there for sure. Definitely wasn't an incredible performance. But I had one great practice round at Northside where I went 8 down with 2 bogeys and really felt that, capability of, I could have a good round. I could put down a 9 or a 10 down, which would have been like 1,030 rated. 8 down would have been 1,020 rated. And then, of course, in the event itself, just didn't happen. But I did film everything, so you guys will be able to see when I have some time to do some editing and I'm not traveling to different states or just plain busy constantly. I will start getting those videos edited. But I have other videos coming up, including a disc review of the Boca, because a friend of mine got the Boca in a gyro box and I got my hands on it. I already have some stuff filmed, but it's going to take a lot longer for me to write the review, get everything filmed and edited, not to mention my 3 tournament rounds and a lefty versus righty battle that's coming soon. So I have a lot of stuff filmed and not a lot of stuff edited, but hopefully coming very, very soon. Hey, Marcelino says, "What's up, bro? Thanks for hopping on again. We have missed you. It's been a little while." Kevin says, "Hey, Leah and I are getting a laptop. What's the best one for editing?" That is a very broad question. I don't know all of the laptops. I would say you're going to want to target something with good RAM. You're going to want something that's going to be able to handle basically the video playback is going to take a lot of your computer's memory. So you want good memory on your computer, good RAM, which is random access memory. You're going to want probably like 16 if gigabytes if you can for that, would be my recommendation, because you're going to want to have that ability to run the playback. And of course, you're going to have good storage space to be throwing video files on the laptop and then do the editing with them. So I would say, yeah, target the RAM. Make sure that that's pretty decent, pretty decent. Resolution is kind of, give or take. It doesn't really matter if you can display on a different screen or use a monitor for displaying to get better resolution for monitoring your video. That can work. So, but yeah, I don't know that I have a specific recommendation. I wouldn't recommend the laptop that I have necessarily. It's nice because it has a number pad on it, but it's really chunky. It's just a Dell laptop because they have a decent brand in general. I actually don't recommend Apple products really for editing. Some people natively edit on Apple and it's great. I never had that experience really personally, but that's just me. Kevin says, "You the man." Thank you. Marcelino says, "Been a minute, just been so busy trying to get out there to play some more again. Disc golf again too." Heck yeah. Well, appreciate you coming back. And hey, maybe it worked out well that it was a Monday and you had a little bit of time to hop in the stream. But yeah, I totally get that. And of course, depending on where you are, it might be a terrible time to play disc golf. Even in North Carolina, it was like 18 degrees last night, one of the coldest, no, the coldest night of the year so far. And people were running some faucets, letting them drip overnight so that the pipes don't freeze, because that's the South. And I didn't go disc golfing today. I didn't go disc golfing yesterday. It's cold. I don't care what Doc says. Disc respects come back to Florida. I would love to. I don't want to make promises. I'm hoping May, June. Maybe I can swing back through. But yeah, man, I played a course. I played New World real quick with a friend and was like, here I am in Jacksonville. Disrespect isn't here joining me. What the heck? What kind of welcome is that? But yeah, I'm sure it was a busy week. And I mean, I was getting in practice rounds like crazy. And then I was competing and then I was sick. And then I was like, all right, this is great timing. All of this going on at the same time. I was seeing friends and family. And then I was like, gotta go back home. It was a very brief 7 days where I was in Florida. So it was quite an experience. Flying Potato says, yo, Justin is here. Thanks for hanging out with us, Justin. Marcelino says, love seeing your channel grow. It's been thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of the support and growth coming from you guys. The live streams, I think, have been a really key part of continual channel growth because it's a good way to kind of get the new eyes, new audience to be interested in the channel, other than my thumbnails, which are terrible. So that it seems to be very helpful. So I really appreciate all of you guys commenting and hanging out in the chat during the live streams. It makes a big difference, and it really pulls people into a community instead of only watching one of my videos and maybe or caring at all. So I think the live streams have been great for that. JCT says, all right, so of course there's this culvert that leads to a sewer. I threw a flip up Exodus straight through it into the sewer. Rip. That is brutal. That is really brutal. That's tough, man. This is wide as a disc. I don't know how I did it. And of course you can't crawl in there and get it back because it's time. That's terrible. Disrespect says, how do you feel about me catching up to you in subscribers? Is that disrespectful to ask? Of course it is. Yes, I would never accept that. If you ever pass me in subscribers, I will delete. No, I'm just kidding. If you pass me in subscribers, that just means that you're doing a good job. So I'm proud of that. And I was on your channel, so it was all because of me. Kevin says, aren't you going to do a Boca giveaway? Tell us how to enter challenge. Tell us how to enter. Yeah. So I'll have to do that when I'm able to actually make the review and do the Boca giveaway. But Kevin generously has donated the Boca for a giveaway. And so when I do the disc review of the Boca, it will also be a giveaway. And I'm telling you right now, that disc is really good. So unless you're Dujit or Justin 2, you're probably not going to overpower it like they do. But this disc is really nice. I think you'll see right away when I hit gaps and it just kind of flips into it and hits the lines really well. You're going to say, oh, that's a good disc. It is a good disc. Parvo says you look like a UFC fighter. Maybe the UFC fighter known for losing every single fight. That would make more sense. I don't that I really have. I played a lot of soccer and I played disc golf, but never been a fighter. Marcelino says, how often do you usually play in a week, even when the weather is nice or when it's mad cold? I would say the most rounds I've really played is 12 or 13 in a week. I don't. That's like a buddy's in town and we play as much as we can. I don't try to pack in every week like that. It's usually 5 rounds in a week with some putting practice. So an ideal week for me would be like 4 or 5 rounds and then 3 putting sessions where I putt 200 times. That'd be a real like disc golf week. And that would let me get a little filming in, but I'm not doing like all filming, just dedicated filming for the whole week. But this week is pretty busy and kind of post tournament and right before Christmas. So I'm kind of letting, most of a week go. I'll probably get a quick round in, but I'm not going to be prioritizing disc golf growth this week for myself. And then after Christmas, I'll shift back into getting some practice in at some courses because I have an A tier in Charlotte coming up. Hornets Nest, Bradford, and then back to Hornets Nest. So I need to get my practice in at Hornets. Traditionally, I don't play well there, but I've already paid to be in the tournament. So I'd like to reactivate my cash streak in A tier as opposed to Chain Knock Open where I lost my cash streak. All right, let's see. Lorraine says, my name is Christian and I'm in the U.S. military in the U.S. Navy. It's hard to do that. I'm sure it is. And I hope that you have disc golf courses on your Navy. If you come to JARS in Charlotte, there's a disc golf course there. Disc Respect says there's got to be more rare. Wait, what did I miss? Right, the culvert thing. Sorry, for me that was like 5 minutes ago. Um, yeah, throwing into the sewer, that's got to be more rare than an ace. Disrespect says congrats. I did that once and then it flooded and the disc came up out of the sewer, blew my mind. Maybe it'll come back to you. That'd be really amazing. The One Tree says, what disc would you recommend for me asking for Christmas? I'm an MA1 level player, so looking for something a little unique that you think is underrated. So I would say for an MA1 player, if you're looking for underrated discs, I would say the Brave in the swirl plastic is the stable version of the Brave. If you're MA1, that's probably going to benefit you more. And I would say that it is slightly unique and underrated. People don't tend to really recognize how good it is, how sneaky far it goes for a 7-speed. I mean, there's the Zone SS. If you don't have yourself a Zone SS or two, it is like just the purest. It's the purest putter shape. It's like the best partially mid-range shaped putter that you can throw. Like I struggle to throw putters well, but it leaves my hand so clean because it feels more like a mid, but it doesn't go as far as mid ranges do. It just goes dead straight, maybe a touch of drift. It's just such a good disc. So I recommend Brave Zone SS. The Wild Honey, if you want to throw as far as you've ever thrown in your life, in my opinion, that's probably going to be the disc for it. Unless you're already throwing over 420 feet, then maybe it's not going to work for you. But it was the disc for me that unlocked new distance, where I was like, whoa, all of a sudden I can throw way further than I ever have before. The Taco is pretty underrated, nice overstable mid range, really good disc. What else is a little bit underrated? I mean, you can never go wrong with the Soul if you want a really flippy disc. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Hopefully, those are decent recommendations. Uh, yeah. Bokeh. If you can get your hands on a Bokeh. The Boost is really good. If you can get your hands on the Boost, that's a really good, like, slightly overstable fairway driver, but it has such smooth flight and good control. And the Proton Plastic feels so nice. So I would say shout out to the Boost for being one of the newer discs that actually feels great. JCT says, hoping that disc washes out. It's my go-to tunnel shot. Well, you threw it into the tunnel. So there's that. Okay, are we lagging? Let me check. Okay, looks good. All right. Looks like lag is just on my end, but let me know if it actually lags for you guys. Olivia says hi. Thanks for joining us. JCT says it's just kind of chilling there. Hopefully it comes out. Went and checked on it this morning. Disc says, best thing you ate in Gainesville while you were there. So the thing is that I had like people ask me over for dinner, so I really didn't eat out. But when I do eat out in Gainesville, I go to New York Pizza Plus. It is the most delicious, wonderful, greasy cheese pizza I ever had in my life. It's fantastic. And I didn't get any because I got sick and had people like, getting meals for me. But I would say if I had one regret, it is, other than not cashing, it's not getting New York Pizza Plus. So that one really hurts me. But that is in Alachua, so not actually in Gainesville. Also, I stayed in High Springs, so I kind of went out of Gainesville pretty much the whole week when I wasn't practicing. Marcelino says you do more field work or playing rounds at a course. When it comes to practicing, what method of practice do you find most effective? I find that some field work, but mostly playing courses. And I'll throw extra shots as long as I'm being careful to pay attention to where they all go and kind of track them. What works best for me is when I have done a little field work with the disc and I know what it is, use it on the course because now I'm gauging how far, what it feels like to throw that far, what it feels like to hit a line and get the turn after a tree or to turn it too soon. adjusting, okay, I missed it with this disc, let me try that disc. So I find on the course practice works best for me, but I probably under field work a little, picking up on distance. I think if I did prioritize distance, that could be a really big boost to my game. And I always keep like meaning to do more field work, and I just don't prioritize it. So for me, it helps to get out on the course and get familiar with the courses, get better at the courses, get better with my discs, and throw extra shots so that I'm not just throwing once and then walking the course and only having thrown 18 times in 2 hours or an hour and whatever. But I like to throw several times per hole so that I get a lot of throws in my practice rounds. Then putting, lots of putting. Draco, thanks for the jewels. Really appreciate it. It's always hard to tell exactly how those translate. It looks like a couple dollars from that, so really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Zia Keen says hi. Sarah Cowherd says hi. I'm sick today. Eating a fajita. Hey, at least that helps. At least that helps with the sickness. Yeah, it stinks. I definitely hit the sickness a week ago. It's a bummer, and I just had like a rough cold. It wasn't even horrible. It was just like super low energy. I was trying to compete, headaches, stuff like that. I thought I had really bad allergies, and I like kept sneezing, and I could barely like my eyes were watering. I was trying to play a game of pool, and I was losing tragically. Like my allergies are so bad, and then I like sat down for a while and I thought, and I was like, oh, I'm sick. Like I'm not just allergic. It's not just Florida. But yeah, it stinks to be sick at all. But definitely, hopefully the fajita helps. The One Tree says definitely look into the Brave. Love the taco. It's so money. It is such a good disc. It's like when I pull it out, I know exactly what it's gonna do. I can throw it not as hard as possible, but like as hard as I can, and I know it's gonna fade. Like I'm not wondering, oh, if I throw this too hard, is it not gonna come back? It's like no, I know what it's gonna do, and it's really great. I play on the skip shot, some ground play. It works great for that too. It's just such a great disc, and I like the mint plastics. Like they just feel good. Disc Respect says any Goliath disc, if I may say so. Disc repping Goliath again. Right? I saw that post. Tia Tea says hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Sarah says, "Where's Doc?" I think Doc has a different live stream on Mondays. Since I'm normally here on Sundays, that's when he's like always hanging out in the chat. But I do believe that on Mondays he is busy. So no Doc tonight. I'm guessing he might swing in if I'm on the stream for a little while. But yep, no Doc tonight. It is kind of weird. He's always in the comments in live streams. So to do a stream and not have Doc there now feels very weird. It's very, very odd. But yep, he's not here today. JCT says got an arc the other day. That thing is money. Heck yeah. The arc. What is the arc? How does it fly? I haven't I don't think I've seen that. Sarah types out the message. Sarah sent $100 US. That would be nice. But I wish that you could just say it and then I would get the money. That would be very convenient. Just trying to trick you. That's all right. It's a good try. Niven says that's a lot of frisbees. Yes, these are disc golf discs. Definitely different than frisbees. For instance, the ultimate frisbee disc is designed to be thrown for catching. It's definitely a slower disc, but disc golf discs are designed for distance. They throw much faster, but they're also more difficult to throw well. But yes, I do have a lot of discs. This is true. Most people would be surprised to find that almost all of these fly differently. I really don't have duplicates of very many discs, just a handful of discs. Braves, Enigmas, Echoes will I have like extras of. A lot of these I just have one and done, maybe two. Tia Teas says, what are they for? What? Disc golf. So disc golfers will play an 18-hole disc golf course where a disc golf basket, it looks kind of like this, is set up for you to try to throw the disc into. And just like golf, you're trying to see how many tries it takes you to reach the basket and make it into the basket. So you throw off the tee. Usually, if you're far away, you're throwing a driver of some sort, which is designed for distance. And then depending on, oh, this is a good one, where you are and what distance you're trying to throw, a mid-range, which is not as sharply shaped for speed and distance, but has more control to it, is probably going to be a go-to for getting closer to the basket. But also putters, like this one here, a Warden, these are designed for throwing shorter distances or trying to make it into the basket itself. And they're designed to hit the chains and stay and fall into the basket, as opposed to a driver, which is not designed to stay, when it hits the metal chains. So yeah, just like golf, you want as low of a score as you can, and a lot of simple holes are just par threes. The idea being you throw to the basket and you make it in, you get a birdie. In two, that's a birdie. But there are par fours, par fives, there are tournaments, and I traveled to Florida just last week for an A tier. We had the winner won $1,400, Chandler Kramer, and we had 350 people playing in different divisions, including like 55 plus divisions for ages 55 and over. So it was really a really cool event. I've done the event 4 times now. It's really awesome. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a great sport, and it's a sport that almost anybody can play because even if you're like 6 years old, you can throw a disc 20 feet closer to the basket. You can throw 20 feet, like you can eventually get there. Versus something like basketball, like not everyone can get a basketball over the basketball hoop. So a kid might never score. But in playing disc golf, you can eventually get there. And if you can do that, then you can slowly get better at it. So it takes you fewer throws to get there. You can get a better score next time, and you can improve over time. JCT says hasn't made the bag yet, but think it'll get there. That's the arc. Heck yeah. Niven says is a crazy collection. Good for you. Thank you. It is not the biggest disc golf collection in this house. My brother has 3 times as many discs as me, if not more. But I have about 300 discs, and it is a small disc collection, which is kind of ridiculous. Niven says, all right, I mispronounced. No, it's all good. No worries. Niven says, do you have a favorite? So one of my favorites, I don't have it with me for reference. So one of my favorites would be an Echo. That's a hex. Where's my Echo? That's the Echo. Oh, that is the hex. Maybe this is the Echo. Oops. Link trying to make a nosedive for it. Hanging out back there. So this is one of my favorites. This is an Echo. It's a mid-range, and for me, it just goes really, really straight, which is sometimes a hard throw in disc golf to go really straight because discs are often designed to turn to the right or go left on you. But if you have a disc that you can throw in a straight line consistently, that means you can throw very accurate shots in and hit gaps between trees, which in Charlotte, North Carolina, there are a ton of trees. So this is a great disc for me. I have several in my disc golf bag, which are in the garage. If it wasn't so cold, they'd be in my car. But the Brave and the Enigma are a couple of my other favorites. If you want my favorite disc for how it looks, this is one of my favorite discs here, where you have the link with a Hilly and the Master Sword designed in the disc itself, which is very cool. That's one of my favorite disc stamps for its appearance. And then I have a couple of Gators from Paul Macbeth's personal disc golf collection from when he was back with Innova that I won. He donated. So that's a really cool thing for me as a disc golfer for being one of my favorite discs. Okay, I'm behind on chat. Anthony Stapleton, is that an orange scorch on the middle row or is it a buzz? I think it's a buzz here. This one's a buzz. Oh, yeah, that's a Charlotte Amateur Championship buzz saw here, but I do also have the scorch down here from Charlotte Amateur Championship. So got both of those on the shelf. JCT says kind of like a straight fairway, like a passion. Okay. JCT says EO Warden. Hey, Doc is here. Look at that. We spoke him into existence. Doc, I told everyone that you were busy on Monday. Oh, he just got off work? Oh, okay. No problem, no problem, no problem. Oh, gosh. Wardens are great even if Brad throws them. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate that. Sarah says 2026 is coming. It's true. 2026 is close. It's very close. Connor, thank you for the jewels. Really appreciate it. Doc says, Brett, how did you do? Sorry, just got off work. In the Chain Hawk Open, not good. I had several just bad rounds and one decent one, but even my decent round, like I felt like I played better than I ended up scoring. I had a stupid bogey and a really, really dumb double bogey. So if I could have gone 7 down, I would have had a decent 1,000 rated round, and instead didn't do that. Rough tournament, but I also got sick, so I do feel like that made more sense when I was sick and like finished my tournament. I was having headaches in my round on Saturday. I was tired in the evenings beyond what I thought I should be. So it does make sense that I was kind of fighting something and then eventually just got sick. But I played through it. I had my best round on Sunday when I was sick. It was the like rainy round. So for no reason, that was my best of the three. But at least I kind of redeemed part of the tournament. But I played below my rating. I didn't cash. It was definitely unfortunate. But I got to see a lot of friends, family. It was really nice to be in Florida for the week. And I don't regret going. I just wish that I had gotten, I'd cashed. And I wish that I'd gotten New York Pizza Plus. Sarah says, do you have a pink warden? Do I have a pink one? I do. I have a pink warden. Oh gosh, I almost dumped 5 discs off the. It's a hybrid warden, softer plastic, but it's also classic, like the classic hybrid with the plastic. It's very nice. Cleet, my friend Cleet gave this to me, and I really appreciate it. Use it for a long time. Now it happens to sit on the shelf, but I have a lot of discs on the shelf, so it's not my fault. David says, very cool. Appreciate the breakdown. Thank you. Absolutely good questions, and there are no stupid questions about disc golf. Well, maybe there are some, but you didn't ask any of those. So I appreciate curiosity. JCT says, added a classic soft ward into my bag to throw. Yeah, man, they throw pretty well. I threw Prime a while till I threw it into the pond at USDGC. Doc says, I probably do real men throw pink. Okay. I mean, I have the taco in the bag, and what else is pink in the bag? The Rive, the Raptor, and I feel like I have one more, but I can't remember. Minnie says hello. Thanks for joining us. Sarah sent happy poop for 10 jewels. Thank you. That's really great. Oh my word. Thank you for that. Music says, what's up? Thanks for hopping on, join us. Doc says, whenever Brad says echo, someone in chat has to respond back. Echo. All right. Thanks, Doc. That's going to help always with the helpful suggestions. Marcelino, just found out about the gem thing, and it turns out I have some. Hey, there you go. That's awesome. Alejandro says the difference between hyzer and anhyzers. The difference is how you tilt the disc. So if you're throwing, it doesn't matter what the spin is. So if you're throwing right hand, backhand, then if you are tilting the disc away from you toward the ground, that is throwing on hyzer. And if you're tilting the furthest part of the disc away from you toward the sky, that is anhyzer. Because backhand, right hand. If you're throwing backhand, left hand, it's the same thing. But if you're throwing a forehand, because the spin has been reversed now, a forehand is, wait, am I being ridiculous? It's still the same thing about facing away from your body. So the furthest part of the disc that's from you, lifting to the sky is anhyzer, and toward the ground is hyzer. So basically, when you throw a disc, backhand, right hand, it's going to be tilting down to the left on hyzer. But if you throw on forehand, then when it's tilting down to the right, it's on hyzer. That's how it's like reversed. But it matters when you're kind of swinging the disc and starting to throw it. If the furthest part of the disc is toward the ground, going out on hyzer, and if it's elevated toward the sky, it's going to be anhyzer. Okay, that was a bad explanation for something that's confusing already. Doc finally got the Ledgestone box. Nice, probably forgot that you bought it in the first place. Sarah said, me and my dad the other day got a new disc golf bag, tons of discs. One of them was a Buzz, and love it. The Buzz is a great disc. The owner is packing the orders. Try out the Buzz SS. A Buzz SS is good. Anthony says, what do you like and dislike about the Scorch? I like that it's accessible for players that don't have massive distance to throw good shots with turnovers. I don't like how when I threw mine into a headwind, it went into the pond and I never saw it again. That's what I dislike about the Scorch. So it does turn over and not come back if you're not careful. I wasn't ready for that. But Scorch is great. I do think it is more toward a newer player, but if you get higher quality plastic, then it'll be more stable. So that's great too. But I don't bag the Scorch. I don't have it anymore after I lost mine. But it was good while it lasted. Just like the Hades, it was good while it lasted. Sarah says, have a rare disc called a Wombat from Canadian Championship 2025. It is new. I do like a Wombat. I had a Wombat 3 till I gave it to my brother-in-law. I have not seen it since. Brandon says, Echo, Echo. Well, the problem is every time I read Echo, now you guys are going to type Echo again. And we're never going to see the end of the echoes in the chat. Luxury says, Warden equals beadless. Beadless equals better. That's true. Bob says, Frisbee, disc golf. So unlike a Frisbee, disc golf discs, I always try to grab a different one every time. Oh, this one's a Valkyrie. Disc golf discs are designed for distance and speed, not for playing catch, unlike a Frisbee. But they are, of course, similar. They're in the same family, but Frisbees are like a type of disc, but disc golf discs are specific advancements in technology to be better than Frisbees, basically, for disc golf, not for catching. Lecture says Wombats aren't truly rare, more like underutilized. Yeah, I would say more offbeat than rare, I would say. But they are, yeah, I would say underutilized is a great way to put it, Luxury. I think that's correct. They do tend to be less common, less popular, but they're great discs. They're really good. Doc says, Brad, if they do wardens in lava, would you get a warden in lava? What's the lava? Is that a type of plastic or a design? I don't know. Sarah says, I don't know which one it is, but it's glow in the dark, and it says Canadian Championship 2025. That's cool. I've not seen a glow in the dark Wombat. Tia says, is there a difference with the disc golf games with the discs and Frisbees, or is it a different game? So disc golf, where you're aiming at is different from like ultimate Frisbee, where you're where you're trying to throw and catch and score with your team. Ultimate Frisbee is much closer to a combination between football and soccer, where you're trying to pass it with your team and the end zone and catch it in the end zone. And then you get points for that versus disc golf, which is a solo sport where you play, you're not almost ever on a team. You're playing for your score to try to get it into the disc golf basket with as low of a score as possible throughout your whole round. And then the person who has the lowest score on the layout, wins the tournament or whatever. So they're definitely played very differently. And so the Frisbee is designed very differently because it's meant to be thrown and caught versus disc golf discs, which are not meant to be caught. They're meant to be thrown for distance, accuracy, control, whatever. Some of them are designed to get around corners really well. Some are designed to skip when they hit the ground and flare or get extra distance after it bounces. For any of that, basically. Trev with the $2, thank you, says break one of the plates, I dare you. I really wish I needed like a floppy disk for this, but these are disc golf discs, so these are not actually like breakable. I wish that I had here. I guess I have like a crappy old Warden. Here, I'll do the Pilot. This is perfect. So this will be the closest one. It's not breakable, but I can make a taco out of the Pilot. So there you go. It'll fly basically the same. But yeah, you pretty much can't break a disc. I say that, but I have broken discs on trees because I threw them. But you can't just like snap a disc like they're made of plastic. You can't do that. Also, I don't eat off of these. Not worth it. Okay. Luxury says, for new players, I highly recommend finding a local club. Everyone is super welcoming. Yes, generally speaking, they are. I have had some local club bad experiences, but it's worth a try. It's worth a try. Um, Try finding, especially if you have multiple clubs to choose from and you pick the better one. I found that's really nice too. Disc golf community is always nice. Yeah, I would say the majority of time disc golf community is very nice. Charlotte does a pretty good job. Got a black roach, pretty sick. That's cool. Frisky Discer says, I am back and getting a Zuka cart soon. Hey, nice. That's awesome. I love my cart. It's been really great. It keeps me healthier, which is great at my advanced age of 30. And I highly recommend carts if you can afford them. I got a nice birthday gift, so I can't complain. Doc says, Frisky got a $100 gift card from Ledgestone, got a $150 cart. That's the way to go. They are on sale. 93 says, have you ever played at Deer Lakes Park? Probably not. What state is that in? I've played mostly in Michigan, North Carolina, and Florida. Not really in between. Really, those three states. A little bit in Tennessee and Georgia and South Carolina. That's about it. Oh, Massachusetts. I played in Boston. Trev says, I thought they were plates. Oh, it's all good. But yeah, can't break them. Sarah Cowherd sending some jewels. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Everything helps. Really, really appreciate it. Robin says, or yeah, Robin Wooden says, how many tournaments have you played? I believe that I played 36 tournaments this year. So I believe that would be about 80 tournaments that I've played now, including fundraiser tournaments. So I've only played for about 4 years. But yeah, I've played about 80 tournaments so far in my disc golf career of the last 4 years. But I don't think I played much in the first year. I really was just playing casual rounds. So it's about 3 years of tournaments. JCT is back. Hey, welcome back. Doc says lava plastic is like almost rubber, but not rubber. Okay, I maybe would get one, but I really don't like throwing those discs. They don't feel right. Brandon says always nervous about buying different mystery boxes. Tend to stick with the gyro and Discmania. Discmania, you can't go wrong, dude. Those discs are good. They're so good. Doc says Brandon like Ledgestone because of the prizes, aka gambling. Brenton says, did you lose your Brave yet? Did not lose it. So basically, this is what happened. I went to film a like, hey, shout out, this disc was dyed for me. And I said, Brendan gave me this disc. So I had to delete that. And I filmed yesterday when I finally had chance to like get out and not just practice for a tournament. And I actually said Brenton this time. I got it right. So I threw Brave and really enjoyed it. I actually like had one really accurate shot, which is really nice, about 330 feet. So I got some good throws in on the camera, got to show off the disc a little bit, and that video I'll be able to drop on Instagram and collaborate with you. So that'd be really cool. So that's going to be coming in the next few days when I have a chance to get at that and actually edit it together. But I have not lost it yet. Brandon says, I see that I want to do discs, but I don't want to be disappointed if I don't like them. Like Pinto Beans says, I golf with a stick and a ball. We're not so different. Yeah, I mean, also foot golf if you want to kick a soccer ball into the hole as well. So there's a lot of variety on golf. I personally just enjoy disc golf the most. I like throwing discs. I have played a round. Well, I can't even say that. I have played golf on a real golf course, but I played 9 holes and I quit. It's not my style. I like, but I don't enjoy it personally. Like I just don't really have that much fun with it. But I used to chip in the yard a lot and like chip into a bucket. Mini golf is the ideal sport, as far as golf goes for me. But I could not drive to save my life. It was bad. But yeah, I mean, I respect the sport. It's awesome and everything. But for me, disc golf is just much more fun and enjoyable. Frisky says that hurts. Says this year's gyro, I only got 2 discs that I won't throw, and that's because my arm is on the noodle side. Hey, that happens. That's fair. Yeah, I opened up a gyro box. It wasn't mine, but I was pretty impressed with the variety. There were a couple of duplicates, but not too many. And the duplicates were in different plastics, like a Fission and an R2. So they actually were different. It wasn't actual identical discs. But that would be unfortunate if you got those. Ours were pretty, I think, mostly more flippy and straight throwers than actually overstable. What I happened to open up. But that video is up, so if you want to see me open up a gyro box, look up that video. called Gyropalooza opening unboxing something. It's not very creative, but you'll find it pretty easily. Doc says, Brandon, if you try to find a Play It Again local store, they have used discs or favorite discount disc golf or Innova Factory second store. Those are cheap suggestions for buying discs. Kevin says, who's coming to play Maple Hill Road Trip with Brad and I next spring? If we end up with a crowd, I'm gonna dip out on that one. But that would be fun. Yeah, I do hope to play Maple Hill. I mean, just filming there would be fantastic for the YouTube channel. It would be really nice. Doc says the lava is for cold weather. That makes sense. Probably the smartest thing you've ever said, Doc. Brandon says, I drive for work from Charlotte to West Palm Beach, so pretty sure I drive by one at some point. LOL. Probably. It's quite a drive. That is quite a drive. Doc says, got 4 Discraft discs in the box. Okay, nice. Anthony says, do you keep a Buzz in your bag? If not, what disc do you have in its place? So I have the Echo in the place of the Buzz, but I do have a Zone and a Zone SS. I had a Buzz SS in the bag for a very long time, multiple aces with it, really good disc, and I almost actually put it back in the bag because I lost my Cosmic Neutron Echo that will turn over a little bit, drift, and instead just have like the straight shot Echoes. But while I was in Florida, I got 2 different friends of mine to give me their 22 what was it, circuit challenge Cosmic Neutron Echoes. So I have replenished my stock of Cosmic Neutron Echoes, and they will be back in the bag soon. I'm very excited to be throwing those on the course again because they're just so good. They're my favorite. But yeah, so I filled that Buzz slot with the Echoes pretty much, and then I have a Soul for turnover shots, and I have the M2 for stable shots and the Taco for overstable shots for mid ranges. Taco Sock says, does anyone bag only one color of discs? For me, it's blue. Blue would be the best. Doc probably has a blue bag. He changes out. He has themed bags because he's really weird. But for me, I have 4 blue discs in the bag. Maybe it's down to... I have a Brave, a Zone, and a Soul. Those are all blue. And I had an Enigma, but I lost it. So I'm thinking maybe I have 3 blue discs right now. If you count my Warden, my putter. It's like ice blue. That makes sense. Doc says, Anthony, for me, it's Cobra, Shoe, or Warship for the Buzz slot. Sarah says, can you make me a moderator? Yes, you have been here multiple times, so there is a level of trust here. So, standard moderator. Boom. Welcome to the moderator team, Sarah. Taco Sock says, is anyone... Oh, I already read that one. Brandon says, when I go to Maple Hill, I check out their used section. They have $5 and $10 discs, and I have bought some great discs there. The only thing that I bought from Maple Hill is this flippiest destroyer. It's terrible. I wish I never bought it, but I did get it at the $5 used section at Maple Hill, and it just so happens to be the worst disc that I've ever thrown in my entire life, besides the Yakun Zhao. So that's probably not the best shout out, but Maple Hill does have a lot of discs to choose from. Just don't pick a disc that looks like this. It's only $5, so it's okay. This is my most that I have on the shelf, and it is number 2, and it's a destroyer. If that tells you anything. Doc says Taco there was an FBO who had sisters and all had a color disc that they threw. Interesting. Sarah says Charlotte is literally the disc golf world. It basically is. There are so many good courses right here. It's insane. Frisky says I'm a gyronaut. Nice. That's awesome. Spirit says I met a disc golf player the other day. That's awesome. Who was it? Was it around North Carolina? What state was it? Was it Florida? I know there was some big events in Florida. The South Florida Open was last week, or this weekend. And then, of course, the Chainhawk Open was the week before. Smaller scale probably than the South Florida Open, but still pretty big deal in the middle of the state. Big yearly event. Brandon says, been playing about 2 years now, have like 118 different courses played. Heck yeah. Sarah says, Doc is your first favorite person, but who is your second favorite? My second favorite person, as far as in the chat, in the comment section, I would have to go back to my roots and I would have to say that probably my favorite YouTube community members, they have to be amateur disc golfer, who is one of the earliest to comment on my videos and consistently stay in the community, or Black Bandit Luke, who has been a longtime moderator, I think the first moderator for the channel, or Dujit, who is a longtime moderator and started the Discord and is very involved in the community. So shout out to the three of them for being OGs and really helped build Birdie Time Disc Golf to what it is today, that you guys can enjoy it. And all of them precede Doc. So as great and as loquacious as Doc is, all of them are before his time, believe it or not. And then Sarah says, it better be me. Oh no, I mean you. It's definitely you. But yeah, definitely they are way up there for me just because of how long they've been around and how helpful they have been. But if you're talking today, then yeah, it's definitely you. Definitely not Doc. Doc's favorite disc color is clear. It's not a color. It's a lack of color, seeing through. Even I know that. Mr. Man says hello. Hey, thanks for hopping on and joining us. Blue bag. I like it, Brad. Might be the smartest thing you ever said. Thank you. Blue is the best. That's true. Mr. Man, why is Doc not a moderator? He was for about 1 minute, and then Doc immediately said, for his first act as moderator, he posted the link to the Discord, and for his second act, he said, take away mod status for me, please. And I did. Doc says, because I'm Team Brent. Josh Miller says, have you thrown the Felon, and what would be your favorite disc? I have thrown the Felon. I would say favorite disc just depends on what I'm throwing, but the Echo is probably my favorite, maybe the Brave, depending on the line that I need to throw. Zone SS and Soul are way up there, and the Enigma for distance drivers. FD1 is really up there too, so it just kind of depends on the circumstances. Felon is pretty good. It's a great disc. Doesn't my bag, but doesn't mean it's a bad disc. Just not one of the 23 lucky ones that are in my bag. And that's 23 discs with repeats, several Echoes, several Wardens, 2 Keystones. Now I'm trying to think because I don't have 2 Enigmas in the bag anymore, or 2 FD1s. I have repeats for the FD1s. Frisky Discer says, hashtag Team Brent. Speaking of Team Brent and everything, I do want to just kind of make another announcement, generally speaking, that I finally have YouTube memberships live on the channel. I will preface by saying that there's not a ton of like perks that you get for a membership, but like you can see by Doc's name, you get a badge, and the longer that you are a member of the channel, that badge will actually change designs, and I have 12 different badges that you can earn with your YouTube memberships. And some of the badges are pretty dang cool, and they are discs that have been hand drawn and designed. You can also have channel emotes that you can use to comment with. And in the future, I will be adding channel member only content. So not really going to be like too crazy, but probably commentary on videos that I've already posted. But maybe some YouTube shorts of just Brent are going to be members only. I think Doc would pay for that membership, I believe. Also, starting with my next video, I will be doing members shout outs in the videos that I edit. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check out memberships. I do have that. All right, quick little dropping the stream really fast. I love that when that happens. Doc says, I think I was here for the first live. I'm hurt. No, you weren't. You were not here for the first live. I remember that I had been streaming for a while. And then you hopped in and joined, and we were like, "Who's this guy? Who's Doc?" Like he came out of nowhere, and you've been joined ever since. But I think that was like, I think you joined around March. I was streaming regularly after Christmas. Streamed twice before that, so it was not the first live that I had done, but it was somewhat early on. But even so, Luke and Duja and Amateur Disc Golfer predated my first stream. They were way back in the day. But anyway, I was saying we finally have the bot account, Fred Grebner. It's not even like a real name. Coming in saying AI is ruining disc golf with an angry emoji, and I've just seen that spam comment in all of my YouTube videos, and I have to say you're right. The comments, the AI comments, are just ridiculous, and your account being the primary example of that. Just what do they call it? The AI slop just popping up out of. So you're right. You are self-recognizing, and I appreciate your insight. Uh, all I have to say is thank you for the momentum with the comments because it's just helping out the channel. Spirit says he's retired, claimed to have been involved. Oh, wait. I missed a few. Coming back. Spirit says Lexington, Kentucky, I believe his name was Everest. Professional disc golfer named Everest. I've met, or that I know of Everest as a pro. It's hard to say, if they're a pro tour pro or professional like me, or I'm playing in the professional division, but I'm not anywhere close to the pro tour. Big difference, but that's really cool. So Lexington, I don't know anyone named Everest. He's retired, claims to have been involved with designing over 21 across the nation. That's really cool. I'll have to look that up. That's really awesome. I know that there are several guys around Charlotte, like Matt Keats, who were involved in a lot of course design. I know Steady Ed was involved in a lot of course design. So I don't doubt that he's been involved and used to, play professionally on tour. But I don't recognize the name. It's just a limit to my knowledge. Frisky says, how many courses have you played? Actually, not too many. I think like 70 or maybe 80 courses, but I really end up playing the same course a lot because I compete in tournaments. So I'll be playing in local courses that I'm going to be competing in tournaments, throughout the year. I'll prioritize those courses. So I'll play Bradford, Bailey, Scrapyard, Angry Beaver, Beastway. I'll play all of those courses, 30 times throughout the year, better at those courses so I can compete better. I would prioritize that over playing, for instance, there are 2 courses at R.L. Smith, and I've played one of them, but I haven't played the other. And I don't have that feeling of like, I need to play the new course because I'm practicing for tournaments that I'm actually going to be competing in. So that's how I handle playing different courses, is I don't really mind too much about getting in a huge variety of courses. New courses are a ton of fun, and I respect like course collectors who really want to, see how many they can play. But for me, it's more like when I'm traveling, I want to play somewhere. But when I'm local, I want to compete. So I want to be preparing to do my best competitively. So that's how I happen to approach it. But I think I've played about 65 or 70 courses at this point. Okay. I'm back on the chat, and after that little hiccup on the stream, Frisky says, gotta go. Discolic says, what's up? Thanks for hopping on. We got the echoes and we got the echo comments. Doc says, are you saying Brad's AI? I could see that. Yes. It's definitely the thoughtless spam. We even have the comment repeated. It's just being repeated through the comment section. That's just a broken algorithm right there. The AI slop is going crazy in the comments. Mr. Man says, I remember him being bot and I was mad when he played the holier than thou card. Well, that's just Doc. That's just what he does. Doc says, I'm allowed 15 minutes a week of looking in Brad's window for being a member. Worth it? I don't know how you get to the 3rd floor, but hopefully it's when I'm not at the room. That's so creepy. Sarah says, man, I'm just the best moderator. Oh, that's great. Mr. Man says, Sarah, we were talking about something that happened a few weeks ago with Doc. That's all. Was it being rude? Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Oh, but also we do tend to have family-friendly language on the channel comment section. So shout out Sarah for properly mentioning the rules because we do lean family-friendly. Although Doc is talking about looking at my window, so I don't know about how that's going. Um, do, do, do. Doc says, "Dang it, Fred, you broke the fourth wall. Now Brad's gone." Yes, I had a connection issue, and I've started to learn that when I see it on the screen, immediately check the phone and see if the connection has failed and restart it. And it has been working when I do that. JTK says, "Greetings from Pensacola. It's cold here, but great weather for tossy launching." That's great. I was just in Florida a week ago for the Chainhawk Open in Gainesville, and so I was staying in the High Springs, Alachua area. I do miss Florida, back in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I never ended up going to or playing around Pensacola. Um, Never really spent much time in the panhandle of Florida, Florida for 3 years. Florida is great, though. I do miss the warmth. Mr. Man says, "Doc, it was lagging for me too. Hopefully it was short." Sarah says, it says this message is held for review. What do I do? Doc says, "Sarah, if it's okay, then nothing. If it's rude, you can click it and delete it." There you go. Yep. Good. If someone keeps it up, click beside their name. You can time them out or ban them. Yes, and if you do come across a comment where it's not like awful, but it's inappropriate, then I do recommend the timeout. Because if somebody is interested in sticking around, they'll wait for the timeout to be over and then come back and hopefully self-moderate. And then if they're a bad actor and they're not interested in being part of the community at all, and they just want to spam, then being timed out, they're just going to leave. So timeout is a really good way. If it's somebody who comments a lot and they cross a line and say something inappropriate, you can just delete a single comment. That also works. But I would tend to lean toward, if you're not sure, don't do anything, because if I see it, then I'll delete it. It just helps to have moderators for people who are spamming and saying awful things. Those get deleted. Those get timed out. And then I'll handle stuff that's kind of on the line of maybe it's sort of political. I can decide to delete it, not read it, or kind of just briefly mention it and just move on. But okay. JCTG, go shower, but I'm back. Hey, welcome back. All right. Family friendly, Doc. Family friendly. Says Taki 3 under the bus for that window comment. It's true. Evan Greg says hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining. Doc says, "Did have an idea though about the shoes. I got to give away putting a link to what? Have an idea about Doc says, "Did have an idea thought about the shoes. I got to give away putting a link to Brad's page on it." I'm just going to move on. JCT says, "I'm doing an in the bag sometime this week. Lost a few discs in a recent tournament, so I kind of need to do an update." Yeah, I'm overdue for mine, but it's almost January, so I'm going to do January in the bag. But yeah, I mean, I lost my Hurricane and multiple other discs in the USDGC doubles. Lost several, like my good white Echo, although I am replacing it. It's like, I lost so many good discs since my last in the bag. I don't bag the Trail anymore. I don't bag the X4 anymore. I don't have the same Enigma anymore. I have a new Enigma in addition, because I lost two of them that I was bagging. Don't have the Hurricane anymore. I have the Rive now. So it's about time. I'm doing it in the bag myself. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you do for that. That's really cool. It is time. Doc says, "Did you get any clear discs?" Always with the clear discs. The best color is no color at all, says Doc. JCT says, "Got a Westside Longbowman to fill my Firebird slot." Wow, Longbowman. I've not thrown that. Doc says, "Did that while busy. Sorry. The shoes I was going to give away. I thought about putting a link to your videos." I like it. Put a link to my videos. That's really good. JCT says, "Is clear with a veteran green stamp." Those are really cool. Edits with UK says, "Hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining." Doc says, "Westside, good plastic. Discs, hate that they broke up with DD. Very sad." Sarah says, "Sorry, I have to go. Gonna take a shower, but be back." Okay. I'll have about 25 more minutes of the stream, and then I'll be shutting it down tonight. I have friends in town, so busy week for me. Delayed the stream from yesterday for some traveling, and squeezing it in today. And then I think next week I probably won't even be able to do Sunday either. So heads up on that. It's not going to be Sunday next week. It might be Monday, or it might just be Christmas Day. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Doc says, watch out for veteran discs. A lot of them they put on sale because they don't sell well. Interesting. Mr. Man says, what time is it for you, Brad? It's 8:03 p.m. EST. It's Eastern Standard, or what's the other? EDT is the other. But I think it's EST now because we've gone past the fall time change. I think for the summer it is EDT, and then for the winter it's EST, I believe. But yes, 8:03 p.m. Doc says, Brad's got friends besides Brent? I'm shook. Yes, well, my other friends don't always play disc golf. So, I have like Brent, and then I have like, my other friends. We play video games together. We do escape rooms, read, we hang out, have a good time. But we barely play any disc golf. So it's kind of a weird level of friendship. They're almost like half friends, Like they're good enough, but they're not on the course with me. So what am I supposed to do? JCT, I'm just kidding, by the way. JCT says, got a bard as well. Make sure to watch my in the bag. You can see it. It'll be short and sweet. Oh, I take forever on my in the bags. But heck yeah, dude. I'll make sure I watch it. Doc says, try a seer and see if you like wardens, maybe a shield. Are you just saying seer? Because I do know the seer is a disc. It's very flippy. It's really nice. JCT says, I hate long in the bags. I do have a shield somewhere. Nice. Doc says, always like the stuff that's in the bag, not the discs, which I always forget to do that. I do my in the bags. I do take longer because I like to show all the discs being thrown. I like to have footage of me throwing each disc on the course and seeing it hit a line. So I like to say, hey, I use this disc, and I like to show it. So I put more of a like experience of my in the bag so that you really know like why I throw a disc and what it does for me. So I do have kind of like 15 in the bags, but I do try to make it like I don't try to just like hold a disc and just talk for 5 minutes. Like I want to involve the viewer and show them what's going on. And then I forget to say, oh, and I have electric hand warmers and cookies in my bag. But I do have to try to tag that on to the end next time. Mr. Man says you live on the East Coast. Sort of. I mean, North Carolina reaches the East Coast. I'm not near the coast. Actually, Charlotte is the opposite side of the state from the coast. It's almost Tennessee, and it's just above South Carolina and just below Virginia. So it's kind of in that little sliver chunk of the state. It's toward the East Coast, the United States. Yes, I grew up in Michigan, hated the cold, moved all the way straight down to Florida, loved it, moved to Charlotte. It's the perfect place for disc golf, and also good weather, although it was 18 degrees today. Should be illegal. Doc says through shields before wardens, like them. Mr. Man says fair point, but why throw a disc? To play disc golf. Easiest question on earth. You throw a disc to play disc golf. Duh. Doc says, Brad, since you want to get sponsored, ever consider several in the bag videos? Each one would feature a certain brand. That way, if you're talking to Yuli, be like, yeah, I'd love you to watch this. No, I haven't. I really try to be authentic about how I do everything. So I'm like, when I'm doing my in the bag, I'm like, this is my, this is a Discmania disc. I love this plastic. I throw this disc because it's good. I like this brand. I love Latitude. I love the Royal. I like this brand. But I wouldn't want to get sponsored by, for instance, Discraft specifically. I'm not sure that I would want to be sponsored by Discraft. So I'll talk about the Zona. It's great. It's a great disc. But I'm not going to be like, I would take a sponsorship, change my whole bag to only Discraft and just throw Discraft. I would not want to. I would do Discmania or Latitude, maybe MVP Streamline, but that's it. That's all I would do. Otherwise, I would want something like Infinite, where I would have an open bag, or an alternative type of sponsor where I'm working with them to sell, but I'm not just, switching manufacturers, but maintaining my freedom to do disc reviews of any brand and manufacturer, not just waiting around for my manufacturer to drop a new disc that I can review. So, yeah, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, new water bottle. doubles. Hey, Alan is, or Steven's here, Alan fan. JCT says, I don't know about this Warden. I lost another maiden. If you know, you know. Have a classic soft Warden in the bag at the moment. Was my straight to neutral putter. Mr. Man says, live in the UK. Only thing I know about the Florida is the alligators and the world famous legend, the Florida Man, which to partially burst the Florida Man bubble, yes, Florida has a bunch of crazy people, but the reason that you find Florida Man stories so easily is basically because criminal records are all public in Florida. So you don't have privacy of arrest records. Everything is published. So you actually would have like Michigan man, Massachusetts man, like Colorado man stories if every criminal proceeding record was public all the time. You would have the stories being run more often. But in Florida, they're public, so we get all of the crazy Florida man stories, partially just because access the information so easily, and you just get all the newspaper titles. But all crazy people and can't read. Yeah, so UK, yeah, obviously very different here in the United States, and yeah, Florida, we have alligators. It's true. It's true. If there's water, you just assume that there's an alligator in it. You don't. There are no safe like ponds. There are no safe lakes. Oh, there aren't gators, and no. There's a gator in that. There's an alligator. Doc says not Innova. No. Doc says Mr. Manny's even got his own TV show now. I'm in a disc golf commercial. It's not even out yet, but it will be for the 2026 season. MC Mori says finally caught the stream again. Was nice meeting you at Eastway a few weeks ago. Hey, heck yeah. Was that on hole 18 that we met on 18? Heck yeah. Thanks for joining and hopping on. Really appreciate it. And yeah, usually Sunday nights, Sunday at 7. But this week, throwing off with Christmas type travels. And next week, traveling again on Sunday. So it's going to be sometime during the week next week. Maybe you can make it. We'll see. I try to keep you guys posted, but I'll at least announce it and schedule the stream. And then fingers crossed, hope a few of you show up. Doc showed up, so it worked, I guess. Doc says, wow, Brad, Killer Fantasies, what want to say anything about Santa? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but Violent Night is not actually a accurate depiction of Santa Claus, as much as it is fun. Mr. Manson keeps throwing you under the bus. Under the bus is the safest place from Florida, man. Alan says, any new sponsorships for next year? Great question. No. Latitude said no. I was disappointed, but I also expected it. I did apply to Infinite, and I think that they will probably say yes to something, but they might give me a really crappy sponsorship and be like, hey, please sell a bunch of crap for us and run tournaments. Here, you can buy discs for 40% off. And I will say, that's not good enough for me. That doesn't help me. No. I'll say no. But I would like them to like actually do something useful for me and then give me a promo code so they can track what discs are purchased because of my channel. Because I think that a lot of you guys would, go disc and then like go use my promo code, and suddenly Infinite is like, oh, this guy's actually generating money for us. He's actually making us money, and they can value me as a sponsored player. But I don't know if they're going to be smart. But I do think that I was convincing in my application because I literally said, I have people ask me for disc review or for disc recommendations every single week on my live streams. And I know that a lot of those people go and buy that disc. So I can just tell them to go buy it from you. And I'm like, let's do this. Like, what are you waiting for? I do need to apply to Cardinal, and I don't know if that over yet for the 2026 season, but I was just so crazy busy in the last 2 weeks. To and from Florida, A tier, got sick, all over the place, back and forth. South Carolina, I'm all over the place. So I don't even know if it's still open or not. Hopefully it is, and I can apply. McMorris says parking lot before the round. Okay, so you guys I ran into at the car warming up before. I met somebody a few weeks prior on 18, and I was like, who did I meet at Eastway? So yeah, that was really cool. That was right before I did the gyro box opening, where I walked to hole 7, and sat on the bench and just opened all of those. and then you guys eventually played up and played through that hole. But yeah, it was great meeting all of you guys, and really appreciate you recognizing me. That was very cool to chat for just a couple of minutes. Wish I'd had more time to hang out, maybe play a few holes together, but had to get stuff filmed and get going for my tournament round at Renaissance, which I did cash, barely. I think I made $3 that day. Very successful. Doc says, Brad, have them let you meet Jonathan, then tell them no. Alan Fan says, I think Robbie C is sponsored by Cardinal. A lot of people are. Disrespect, yeah. Brent is sponsored by Cardinal as well, as far as what I know. Mr. Man says, put the videos of your competitions and tag all the brands so they can see it. Put yourself out there. It makes a big difference. Sort of. Well, yeah. Yes and no. When I apply, I put my channel so they can see any and everything that I have. Something like T-Box socks, yes, you want to tag their product when you use it and be like, hey, I use this product. But for manufacturers, it doesn't quite function the same way. So I would say it's going to be spammy. If I'm constantly tagging every manufacturer that I bag, that's 11. And that's going to be like with every video, it's going to be constant spammy. It's not authentic for me. So I do shout out brands. I do say, hey, I'm throwing this because I like it. I like this plastic. I like this product. I am clear about that. But I can't do that every time with all of them because it's just going to be a corporate mess. And I'm not willing to do that. So I really do want to toe the line correctly and walk the tightrope and have my content be authentic and me, but also intentionally being open and honest about things and shouting things out and pointing people, in a direction. I just need somebody to work with me and say, hey, point them to us. And I had that connection in Florida locally, but I had to leave. And now that I'm in Charlotte, I'm starting to make some local connections as well. But I don't think that Joseph, with another round, really needs me helping him. He's selling his own stuff. And he has a whole team that he has sponsored. And I don't think that his perks are very good. So I don't think that that's really going to be great. My brand isn't Go Ace. My brand is Birdie of the Day. So not what he probably needs. But I'm in good with chain reactions and growing with that. So that's really good. But yeah, it's just kind of hard with disc golf. It's not like Nike where you just like wear their stuff all the time and tag them a lot and hope that somebody notices you. It's not quite the same. Doc says, dang, pro Three Musketeers can't be a fan of Cardinal. All right, Doc. JCT says, the only I got right now is a local team, Murfreesboro, Arkansas. JCT says, haven't gotten close to a sponsor yet. I mean, local is the way to do it. If you can meet people locally, like Par On is great for anyone around Jacksonville because they'll work with you. And Thomas Eden is really great. And even in Gainesville, if I was still there, I probably would have a Par On sponsorship because they have stuff with people in Live Oak that I know, also about as far away from Jacksonville. And I competed in Jacksonville all the time. So if I hadn't been moving, I would have been like, hey, you know me a little bit, like this. And I think it would have been great. The Fox Flyers were perfect. And I think there was a lot of potential for working with them. They were giving me discs for reviews. I was generating sales with my promo code for them. They gave me a gyro box to open, one of my more successful videos on the channel. And they are great, but they're very local. And while they do have a website, them sending me products and me working with them remotely just wasn't really going to work out. And I didn't really want to put that on them to have to send me stuff constantly. So understandably, that just doesn't function very well over distance. But yeah, it's definitely a balance. Doc says, JCT, maybe 1 year you focus on just one manufacturer, shout them out all the time. Nico did that, got picked up by Innova. It's tough because you either have to be really, really good or you have to be really unique and popular and be able to be in a position to sell things. I'm trying to do both at the same time and be pretty good and somewhat popular. And not every manufacturer cares about that. Mr. Man says, understand there's a thin line between spamming and being an aggressive entrepreneur. Maybe not entrepreneur, but I hope you get my point. Yes, absolutely. And doing nothing and hoping isn't good enough. And I don't want to do that either, where I just sit back and be like, oh, nobody's sponsoring me. What the heck? Like, I want to be forthright and pursuing that and putting myself out there. But yeah, it's definitely hard because I feel like if I want to grow my I can only push so hard with manufacturers and brands because then I'm not going to be focusing on my community. But if I am growing my channel well, then I'm more appealing to a brand, but they might not notice me. So it's kind of this weird balance. Alan Fan says Doomsday. Yeah, Steven, that's true. That's true. Doc says, oh, want to be sponsored by Innova Dragon? Not Innova, just the Dragon. Cosmic says, hello, just stopping by on live streams and saying Merry Christmas. Cosmic, thank you for swinging through. Merry Christmas. Back to you. I don't know if you're still here or if you've already left, but Merry Christmas. A little early. Doc says, we'd love to see Brad improve some Doomsday skills. That would be fun. It's hard when I'm trying to train so much for competitions to for fun discs. And that is probably things that I miss a little bit is goof around all the time. There's not always an opportunity to goof around. Usually I'm focusing on something. And I like focusing in growth, but every once in a while I'm like, man, I wish I could just like film a bunch of throws with the oxymoron until I get it. But I just don't I haven't come into it because I have other things. So it's and it is a trade-off that I look at and go, too bad. Too bad. They're all a lot of fun. Bella says you look like you 3D print things. I wish that I could afford a 3D printer, but thank you. Really appreciate it. One of my buddies is a mechanical engineer, so I totally respect someone who's good with design like that. For me, not my strength. Not my strength. Steven says that red and blue Oblivion is sick. Bella says you also look like a better Mr. Beast. Maybe a Mr. Beast that you can tell means it when he smiles instead of the empty eyes that you get from him. But also Mr. Beast without any of the success. But thank you, I guess. Mr. Disc instead of Mr. Beast. Okay. Brad, aka Mr. Disc. Love it. I gotta rename the channel now. That's great. Improv some Doomsday skits like in your bunker. I could do okay attempting to write comedy, but I don't think acting is a strong suit for me. I think I'd be again okay, for YouTube acting. But so many channels are so much better at skits. Like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But I do think that I'm a better actor than a lot of the pro tour players in commercials. They're so cringy. They're trying so hard. It's so obvious that it's painful. It's painful to hear them deliver their lines. It's like ugh. I love Jeremy Colling, but ooh. Steven says Mr. Disc is a good name. Maybe improv is the wrong word. Script out some skits. I'd be better at scripting. I'd be better writer, I would think, than just goofing off improv. I do think that pre-planned writing is more my strength. I do write a lot for a lot of my videos for teaching as a youth pastor and volunteer with the church, for my parents' ministry. I do a lot of writing posts and newsletters and stuff. So it is kind of what I'm better at. Get a disc with aerogel and patent it. Utility patent. Okay. JCT says, don't throw a Doomsday depth charge. It'll scar you for life. Is that no, I'm thinking of the landmine. I haven't thrown the depth charge. Doc says, imagine Brad with an oversized military helmet screaming, we need a blank disc now. Okay. Hey, Justin says, hey, forgot you were streaming today. Hey, no problem. It's a bit of a weird week. I should have been streaming yesterday to today. It's not, it's just, what's happening. I was traveling yesterday. I wasn't even home until 11:15 p.m. and I figured you guys wouldn't want to see me at that point. Also yesterday. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But yes, next week, probably same thing. It's going to be Monday or Christmas Day when I stream. We'll see what happens, but it's probably not going to be Sunday. Hopefully, the week after that, I'll actually be back to streaming on Sundays. That will be 3 in a row that I don't do due to sickness, traveling, and just general Christmasness. Doc says just got depth and landmine. JCT says they suck. Doc says the depth charge is a landmine in a particular plastic. Oh. JCT says, you're right. I almost aced with one at my last tournament. I think I posted it. Hey, heck yeah. I was thinking depth charge would not be legal, PDJ legal, but I did think the landmine was, so that does make sense if it's just different plastic. All right, I'm definitely winding down a little bit here. A couple more. I was just saying, a couple more minutes on the stream, and Mr. Man donates £2. Make Doc a mod against his will. All right, I will. Here we go, Doc. You're gonna be a mod. I was paid to do this. All right, Doc. You are now a mod. Doc, if you that I remove your mod status, I will do it. Oh gosh. Justin sending 6-7 for 6-7 jewels. Great. There's nothing I can say to that, but thank you. Doc says, Mr. Man, do you need a timeout? Me makes Mr. Man only throw echoes. Just remove it. All right, hey, I respect your decision. You don't want to be a moderator. Doc is no longer a moderator. There you go. I followed the suggestion. Mr. Man says, give me a timeout. I deserve it. Oh my word. Awesome. Well, thank you for the donation, Mr. Man. Really appreciate it. I did what you asked, but Doc doesn't want it, so his moderation has been rejected. Justin says, I got some gems from YouTube for some reason. Yeah, I have seen that a few people are just like, hey, I looked and I just have these gems and I just wanted to give them. And I'm like, great, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's really awesome. So, I mean, other thing that I wanted to say, the hype feature. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that you can hype a video, and it's by the, like, when you go to leave a comment, you can look near it or like swipe, and you should come over to the hype this video feature. And apparently what it is basically that when a lot of people hype a video as, oh, this community really likes this video, we're going to push it a little bit. We're going to help feature it a little bit. Excuse me. So if we can try to test it out, hype next video that I post, that'd be really cool. Which video should it be? Whatever I post next, if you guys can try to think of the hype, or go back to the gyro box video and hype that one might be a good way to test it, because that video is basically not getting any more views. So if we hype the video and it actually gets some traction, that'd be a really good indicator of, okay, this is how the hype feature works for the channel. But it's free to hype, so everybody gets a couple of hypes every month. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, basically it's just one more feature that YouTube allows viewers to interact with the video and potentially help it out. So if you guys see the hype feature, give it a try, see if it helps a video of mine at all, and I'll try to come back on the streams and report if there's any change and it actually makes a difference. I would love to see that happen. Okay. Doc says, phew, those night sweats were awful as a mod. Yeah, I'm glad that you're recovering very quickly. JCT says, that was scary. Oh gosh. Paul Danto sent a high five for 100 jewels. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Paul. Mr. Man says, this will definitely turn out to be a legendary feud, Doc and me. Justin says, I have lots of hype points. Awesome. I understand them, but I would say either go back to the gyrobox video and drop the hype points there, or try it on my upcoming video, whatever's next, whether it's the righty v lefty or the Boca review, whichever one it is. Doc says, I don't know, Mr. Man, I've had some fun ones. The feud between Doc and Mr. Man is Mr. Man's best feud, but just one of many for Doc. Just one of many. JCT says, the new Percy Jackson season sucks. It breaks my heart because the movies had so much potential, and just like Aragon, they were terrible. They had some good to them, but they were pretty bad. I mean, they totally ruined the story arc in the first movie. just awful. What are they doing? And I saw that Disney had the seasons coming out, and I was like, I just have a feeling that they're just not going to be that great. So I haven't watched them, and I'm sorry to hear that they suck. I'm sorry. It's a real bummer. For someone who's read both series and several other series by Rick Riordan, it's like, come on. The writing is so good, it's so fun, it's so engaging. It makes for a great TV show. I'm worried about Christopher Paolini's Aragon / Inheritance Cycle TV show that he has been working on with Disney Plus. I'm worried that it's going to stink too. I don't want another depiction of one of my favorite book series on the screen being terrible. It's always a disappointment. Not everything can be Lord of the Rings, and I do mean the movies, not the Rings of Power. 100 for 2 joules and sent happy poop for 10 joules and a flower for 30 joules. Thank you, Doc. Really appreciate it. That's awesome. Oh, man. Mr. Man says, fun is subjective. That's true. Doc says, JCT been loving the Stumble TV show. I don't know what that is. JCT says, look, Tyson lives with them at the beginning. That's all I'm saying. So it's the second season, the Sea of Monsters season, and Tyson just starts out living with them, and then he gets claimed way too early. That's terrible. Doc says, only had 50. Well, appreciate it, Doc. Appreciate it. Mr. Man says, have to go. Love the community. See you guys in the next live. Peace out. Appreciate you hanging out and being with us, Mr. Man, as always. It's a pleasure. You have a great week and an upcoming Merry Christmas. I'll probably see you by then, so I'll be streaming, but if I don't, hope you enjoy a good one with your family. Steven says, really excited about the movie Project Hail Mary, if anyone knows about it. That one is Ryan Gosling? Or Glenn Powell? No, that's Ryan Gosling, right? I think. No, I don't. I do. Do you want? I think I have the book. I do. I have Project Hail Mary, the book. I haven't read it yet, but it was just given to me last week. And so, yeah, quite the book collection. So it is now one of the many that I need to read. But yes, I'm interested in the movie. I was interested in it. And when the book was offered to me, I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I'll take that. Thank you very much. I'll be able to compare and say whether the book or the movie is better. Spoiler, it's always the book. Justin says, Brad, just some YouTube advice. You have to ask people to hype the videos within 7 or you can't after the 7 days. Thank you. So I think the gyro box is too old then. Well, actually, I think it was last Friday. So actually, I think the Gyropalooza opening video is still within the last week. But yes, thank you very much. It's only within a week. Okay, so that's really good to know. So I'll have to, like post videos on Friday, Saturday, and then mention the hype on Sunday on the streams. What's it about? Some spaceship thing. Doc says Brad could be a good Gosling. And the Odyssey, the author of the original book is Homer. Yes, that is true. It was posted 9 days ago. Okay, so that was over a week ago. Man, my weeks have been really, really unusual. I really thought that I posted it like last Friday. But you're right, it was over a week ago. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So that's really helpful. Within a week, and that video is too old. So next video that I drop, it'd be great if we could try to hype it and see if it makes a difference. But yeah, thank you for that information. Really helpful. Paul says, wife and I threw our first tournament last week, and man, what work, but it was a doubles tournament for charity. Heck yeah, raise some money for a good cause. That's great. That's really awesome. That's a perfect first tournament. Doubles charity tournaments are so perfect, especially if you're buying some mulligans and you're like just having a great time. Mistakes don't matter. Something crazy fun happens as a team. Like it's just such a good time. So I really respect that as a first tournament choice. Doubles charity tournaments are the best. I absolutely love them. JCT says Grover is like taken by a sea monster, maybe a kraken, and then he was thrown onto the Cyclops Island. That's really lame. That's really, really lame. It's just sad to hear that being corrupted. It's really tragic. Maybe one day we will live in a world with good TV and film adaptations of books, but we don't live there now. And I'm so sorry for the reality that we all have to deal with. On that note, I'm going to close the stream. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll be back, not on Sunday, but next week. Merry Christmas in advance. And hopefully I see you by then to wish you Merry Christmas again. Peace out, guys. Project Hail Mary seems to be about a dude played by Ryan Gosling who's smart but not smart enough to be an astronaut, but he has to go to space to try to save the world from a burnt sun or something, and meets an alien on the way. That's great. That's great. Justin sent Sunday for 100 joules. Thank you, Justin. Really appreciate it. Great show, Brad, but still Team Brent, of course. Good night, guys. Appreciate it. See you later. Peace out.